All right, I'm gonna put you under some game right now. Yo, y'all better.
And they don't even supposed to put that on there.
It's not supposed to be there. It's a factor of FICO. FICO isn't law. FICO isn't the government. It is a private company. It has nothing to do with your consumer report. The same way Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, private companies, but they have assumed a role where they call themselves a credit bureau. Everybody thinks government when you hear the word bureau. So if I can control the narrative of what you hear, I can get you to do what I want. So if we use the word bureau and everybody believes we are a credit bureau, if you dispute something and I say it is validated, you will not contest it anymore. You're not.
That's wild as hell. That's hard.
All right, I'm going to take it a step further. The state of Florida, there's a law called usury law, right?
Yeah.
And each state has their own version of it. The state of Florida is capped at 18%. That's the maximum interest rate any institution can charge anyone. But I guarantee you right now, there's people watching this interview that is paying in Florida right now more than 18% interest rate. That's a usury law violation, but people don't know these things exist. Each state has one. They have their own version of what that amount is. Now, how I found this out was, dude, when I got my first car, it was a used Nissan Altima, 2007, 75,000 miles. I was paying 18.90% interest rate on it. I couldn't even get approved. I had to get a co-signer.
Damn.
The payment was $550. I was a new driver. New insurance, that means I'm paying $400. I lived in New York, Bronx, New York. That insurance is hella high. So for $950, I was paying for a used Nissan Altima with 75,000 miles on it. Damn. Bad credit is the most expensive thing. It's the most expensive life you will ever live.
So you can't, for y'all do know that with bad credit, you can't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get a credit card. You barely could get a banking account.
But think about it too. If you even get it, subprime lenders. So now, remember, when I had bad credit, like I told you with the car, I was paying 18%.
Yeah.
You with perfect credit or good credit, you're paying 2 or 3%. That's not a lot that you're making money off of.
Right.
You're making money off of me with the bad credit, 18%, 35%, 25%. Not to mention now, truth in lending. 15 USC 1605, the finance charge. See, what a lot of people don't know is that the finance charge has an insurance built into it. The insurance protects the creditor in case I default. So if I default on my loan or whatever I finance, an insurance policy is built into it that compensates the lender. So they just got full payment. But what else happens? You get charged a late fee because you're late, right?
Right.
Then, after you got charged a late fee, they did a charge off, right? They got a tax break on it. Then, they sold it to collections. You see how many times they sold this account? They got paid off the insurance. The insurance was built in. So if I defaulted, that insurance paid them. They charge it off now. Then they sold it to collections.
Money getting made all the way around.
Bad credit is one of the biggest businesses in America.
And so this is another thing I want to talk about too. So I run into a lot of people who have so-called good credit scores, right? They young. They be like, my credit score is 750, it's 800, but with no credit history. Can you tell them a little bit about the credit history game?
All right. I'm glad you brought that up. The credit score means nothing. The profile is everything.
Yep.
Because now when we talk about a good mix, we're talking about the type of accounts, student loans, auto loans, personal loans. We're talking about mortgages. We're talking about the age. Is it 3+ years? We're talking about utilization. Is it below 10%? Is it below 5%? Now we're talking about your ability to pay back. Is your payment history stellar? When we really dive into credit, the profile is more important than anything else, because a kid coming out of college that is an authorized user on their mom or uncle or some relative credit card, they will have a 750 with a thin profile.
Yeah.
I've seen people get denied with an 800 credit score.
Yeah, me too.
It's a thin profile.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
And they're arguing with them, like wondering, like, why am I getting denied? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? And I'm telling them, like, bro, it's because you don't have no history.
You have nothing.
They gotta understand. You have to separate yourself. You have a car credit history. You have credit card history. You have loan history. You like even with a mortgage. Like, oh, you never had a mortgage before? That's what they're gonna ask you. So they want to see, like, oh, should we test them? Should we try them out? That's a part of credit. You know what I mean? So it's just good to know, like, for people that is watching, that you have to have history. That's why it's always good to start early, not procrastinating. Or the best thing you can do is learn from people. And you hear how he give it his game. You definitely want to sign up for his mentorships, his classes. Go look at his YouTube channel, because I'm shocked. He telling me stuff I didn't even know. You know what I mean? So, man, let's keep giving it.
All right.
What else we got, Paul?
You brought up a point, mortgages. I didn't want to touch it, but I'm going to touch it. Do you know about the secondary market? Have you heard about the secondary market?
I heard something about it.
Let's go back to 2008 when the whole market crashed, right?
Okay.
When they were selling collateralized debt obligations, CDOs, and credit default swaps, and repackaging mortgages and selling it to investors, right?
Right.
So there's a term called securitization, where the mortgage gets separated from the note. So for everybody that's a homeowner, I'm about to give you all a game right now, that there's very few people that notice the mortgage and the note cannot be separated. If the mortgage is separated from the note, there's no right to pay.
What?
All right, let me break it down. The mortgage is an accessory to the note.
Right.
The mortgage secures the debt. The promissory note is the promise to pay that debt. If they are separated, the mortgage is null and void. There's a lot of people that's paying on mortgages where the holder hold only the mortgage, but they don't own the promissory note. There's no legal right to collect.
Damn.
There's people right now that they're paying someone who holds the note. The note by itself is worthless without the mortgage. The mortgage is the debt. The note is the promise. They are accessories. They must travel together. And a lot of people that got pushed out of their homes illegally due to foreclosure, the persons that were foreclosing didn't hold the note and the mortgage. You cannot foreclose if you don't own the note and the mortgage. You have to own both. It's not either or. If you own only one, there is no obligation. It is null and void. This is a Supreme Court case ruling.
Damn, that's a real game right there.
Y'all can go look it up. Supreme Court case ruling. The mortgage must travel with the note. Go ahead.
Wow, that's a real game right there.
Now, auto loans. We got a lot of luxury cars again, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to give y'all some other game now. How to delete auto loans from your credit. Closed or open, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You can delete any account that you want off your consumer report.
Right, damn.
So I know a lot of y'all will dispute, and then you'll hear, all right, you know, the bank said, oh, we have to report this by law. What law? What law? I challenge any banker, any firm, any consumer reporting agency, show me the law that says you have to report anything to a person's consumer report. There is no law. The law says you may report, and the consumer must give permission. So there's a law. It's called the Gramm-Leach-Bailey Act, right?
Yeah.
15 USC 6802, right? But before I go to 6802, I want to go to 6801, right? I'm going to go to 6802. I'm going to give y'all the card game in a minute. But because I'm going to pass 6801, I'm going to give y'all some student loan game right now. Just a little bit of student loan game.
Yeah.
All right. Protection of non-public personal information, right? Student loans are not public information. It's not.
Right.
That's private information, right? And the law says that it is the policy of the Congress that each financial institution, those that extended those lines of credit to you, those student loans, they have an affirmative and continuing obligation to respect the privacy of its customers and to protect the security and confidentiality of those customers' non-public personal information. Well, if Congress says this, the first thing I want to know is, what does privacy mean?
Protection from
Protection.
from people.
Correct. What does confidentiality mean?
Yeah.
It's not something that you can just share with everyone.
Right.
So if these institutions are supposed to protect my privacy and confidentiality of my non-public information, where does a student loan servicer that you don't even have a contract with, there is no contract, because you might have gotten the alleged loan from like a Sallie Mae, Department of Education, or one of these government agencies, but where did Nailnet come from? Who is that?
Right.
How are you reporting as a creditor when there is no contractual obligation between me and Nailnet?
Wow. Yeah.